Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Colossal Tussle Podcast proudly presents to you its brand new episode 11! Hosted by the Road Dog, Special K, the Badass.
Just John.
And this is the Colossal Tussle Tandem.
That was better than I expected.
Oh, yeah. You're damn right. You're damn right it was. Welcome, one and all. I am KJ Johnson alongside the old Just John there.
Yes, sir.
And welcome to episode 11 of the Colossal Tussle Podcast. Yes, indeed. How's it going, my man?
Pretty good, buddy. How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Can't complain. That took way longer to think up than you will ever know.
Yeah, I saw you were like really hyped to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, there's not a good tagline for WrestleMania 11, so
Fair enough.
Do it on the fly, and what better way than with the New Age Outlaws, because we are deep in Attitude Era nostalgia.
Yeah, we are, buddy. Yeah, we are.
Yeah. We're going to be discussing the January 4th, 1999 episode of Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Big, huge, important episode. Probably one of the most important in its history of Raw television. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be discussing some news, my big dude.
Jam-packed episode.
Jam-packed. Yep, as packed with jam as we could get.
always go. Jesus Christ. All right, let's do it. What do you want to start off with?
I don't know. I mean, we've got a huge weekend upon us. A huge weekend with Aew Double or Nothing. So, I mean, shall we start with that? Shall we discuss that? How do you feel about the show going into it? How do you feel about there being 9,000 matches, apparently? The possibility that this could be a 17-hour show. How do you feel about it?
There's rumors it started today.
I thought it was today.
No. Yeah, the runtime. That's the only critique I feel like that AEW has with its pay-per-views is that they take up so much, especially if you watch from the buy-in, like the pre-show
all the way through.
Yeah, like I think the pre-show starts at 7 all the way till God knows what time the show's gonna end, because there's like 13 matches on here. So yeah, it's a lot of wrestling, especially like I feel for us it's easier to consume because you know we can just stand up and do whatever we want. Like but like for the people paying to see it live, it's a tough ask to keep them entertained and just to keep their energy up for like 5 hours. So there's going to be a lot of matches I feel are going to suffer from that.
Indeed. I remember being at a few of the WWE shows, a few WWE pay-per-views. Even us, we were at SummerSlam the few years ago.
Yeah, we were.
And that was long.
Yeah.
That was long. And I went to WrestleMania 32. That was even longer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to sit there to lock into the experience is just rough. No matter if you're seeing the greatest wrestling show.
Because, like, even if you think of Monday Night Raw, it's only like 3 hours, maybe like 2 and some change.
Yes.
And it already feels like an eternity to sit through. So now imagine 2 more hours of that.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you possibly keep your fans entertained?
Uninterrupted as well. Because at least with the luxury of a Raw or a SmackDown, you have the commercial breaks where you can get up, you can go, you can do some shit. Even the live events have intermission, for God's sake. Like that's going to be very rough for Double or Nothing. But I mean, getting the negatives out of the way, I mean, it's still going to be a very stacked card. What match are you most looking forward to?
I'm mostly looking forward to the triple threat tag team match between what's called Keith Lee, Shane Strickland, who is it? Team Taz.
Well, let's pull it up live on air.
Yeah, yes, Team indeed. Taz and then the Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy.
Yes.
That's going to be fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But again, depending on where this match is on the card,
the
reactions to it are going to be completely different, I feel.
Yes, I would agree. I would also say that, yes, it's going to be a great match, but I don't think that there's a lot of storyline going into it.
No.
And I don't think there's all that much importance on it either, because we have the Young Bucks and Hardy. And the Hardy Boys, and those are probably the two bigger tag teams that have been given more storyline love.
What I feel like with AEW right now is that their three main champions just haven't delivered. Yeah, in my opinion, Britt Baker didn't deliver. Hangman Page is, he's now getting some steam with the CM Punk feud. Yeah. And the Jungle Boy Luchasaurus thing has never caught any steam. So that alone makes the whole quality of their show suffer a little bit, I feel. Yeah. Now Thunder Rosa is the champion, and you see, the effects from Britt Baker, they're still happening, where people are still like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna invest as much time into this as I would, type of thing.
Well, mainly because the women's division has been so poor. Exactly. And there's been so poorly features on the main shows like Rampage and Dynamite. You rarely see them. They're only getting like a minor look in most of the time. And they've got the talent, they just don't have the things for them. But you're absolutely right.
They don't even let them cut promos in the ring.
Yeah, they keep getting cut off or get stuck in the back.
Yeah, they have to cut promos from the ramp.
I'm like, the closest they can get is the ramp.
Like, why can't you let her go in the ring? Like,
No. The ramp for you, okay? Tony doesn't want to walk that far. But I think you're absolutely right. I think all of the champions have been very secondary in the show.
Yeah. Like you mentioned earlier, like the Jungle Boy Luchasaurus match isn't even the top tag team match on the card.
No, I would argue definitely not.
The Thunder Rosa Serena D isn't the most important female match on the card either.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big, that big takeaway there would be, because you would argue that maybe Jade Cargill gets more of a look in than Thunder Rosa does, not by too much. But
and you have the tournament as well.
Yes, the tournament match, indeed.
There's just so much stuff, and it's like, I just feel like their champs just haven't brought it to the level that they're supposed to, where it's like, hey, this is my show type of thing. It kind of feels like they're also there.
Yes. That does lead me to believe that the main event of CM Punk and Hangman Page, we're going to see ourselves a little title switcheroo.
I don't think so.
I think CM Punk is gonna take hold of that belt.
Really?
I mean, it would be a thing for me that perhaps he even does a cheat to win. Maybe he doesn't do like a full heel turn, or maybe he doesn't matter. But I think something, because Hangman has failed. Hangman has failed
the Hangman
as the champion. The build up to the title, fantastic, extraordinary. Kenny Omega and him, fantastic, but him holding the title, and this is the case with a lot of face champions, is that the conquering is not as good as the chase is. And some baby faces are able to do that. Steve Austin was able to hold the title. That's great. Hogan, but there are also some people that have been babyface champions, and it just doesn't work.
Because I feel like for babyface champions, it's sort of like, when you're in the chase, it's like you're trying to defeat this evil type of thing. Then once you get it, and you're always coming down, it's always, sunshine and rainbows, and everything's great. A lot of people don't want to see that, especially like, when you think of like super baby faces like John Cena and stuff like that, where people were just like, all right, we're tired of.
You're turned off by this. It runs out its welcome really quickly, and you have to be ultra charismatic in order to carry that. And then also too, you have to have these major unbelievable heels to go against in order to have that babyface in peril who's always the underdog champion. And you don't get that. Like Adam Cole, as great as he was not the unbelievable heel that I would say an MJF is.
Because that's the thing with AEW. When you're bringing all these ex-champs from all these other promotions, most of these guys work face. Like it's very rare that you see some guy coming in from the indies that's just like, or that's been playing a heel their whole career.
Or at the very most, they're the cool bad guy.
Exactly.
Which is, oh my God, I've had enough. I've had enough of the cool bad guy. Like, if you're going to be a bad guy, be a fucking bad guy.
Exactly. So now AEW has all these faces that they have to turn heel in order for the champions to have anyone's to go against. So now it's just, a face versus a slightly edgier face.
Yeah. So that's that there. The thing that I'm most anticipating is the 5-on-5. I was about to say, is it 4?
The anarchy in the arena.
Yes, the anarchy in the arena. The wrestling versus sports entertainment. The Wizard Chris Jericho and the Chris Jericho Appreciation Society versus the Blackpool Combat Club along with Santana, Ortiz, Eddie Kingston. I mean, come on.
It's I'm still curious of what the anarchy in the arena actually is. It just like a tornado tag type of deal?
I must imagine,
right?
It's probably going to be like some wild brawl.
Yeah, because I have no idea what this is going to be.
Yeah,
but I've been loving the feud so far, where it's like Chris Jericho's just like, hey, I want to do sports entertainment, and Eddie Kingston's like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yes,
I'm going to kill you.
I love it. I love how personal it's been, and the fact that there's a bit of layers to it. As you say, with Jericho and with Kingston, and then you also have the Blackpool Combat Club idea of pro wrestler versus sports entertainment. There's a lot of layers there. You have Jericho with his history with Moxley, with Bryan, with LAX, Santana Ortiz, with like all that history. So there's a lot of stuff going into that, and I enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm also, how can you not be looking forward to MJF versus Wardlow?
I think that's the match that most people are looking forward to seeing, because the build up towards this match has been absolutely phenomenal.
Extraordinary.
They've done everything right, from cutting his music off and just having the fans cheer him into the ring as he's handcuffed.
The Wardlow chants.
Everything. And this has been like such a slow burn too, because they've been kind of preparing this feud since like 2 MJF feuds ago. Like they've been really taking their time. They're taking their time with this one. So I'm really looking forward to not only to the match, but what happens after. Like what's Wardlow going to do after this?
Yes. My question is, who do you think is winning? Do you think it's a definite Wardlow victory? Because for me, I think I would actually like to see MJF go over here. He's lost to CM Punk, and he had that. It didn't hurt him at all. It elevated his stock. And Wardlow, could he do with the win, or would he be okay? You see, this is where I think the reverse happens, where you're trying to decide whether or not the loss to CM Punk would hurt MJF. But now my question is, would the loss to MJF hurt Wardlow?
No, because I think they've done such a good job with Wardlow, and the fans are so behind him that win or lose, he's certified already. Like he's golden.
Yes.
I feel like a win against MJF, even though it'll be nice, it won't do, like he's already good. It won't do him any favors. So I can see why they would want him to win, but at the same time, if they put MJF over, both guys end up being just fine. Like this feud has been that great that like both of them are gonna leave it perfectly fine, no matter who wins.
I would agree. I think, because I'm a guy that's very much, I like momentum. I like people that have win streaks, that have, like, if you have the fans behind you, push that man, give him what he needs. But at the same time, I think MJF getting a sneaky victory, getting, like, he's managed to just cheat and sneak out a win, that would be fantastic. Because if MJF were to lose, I would like to see him off of my television screen for a while.
Yeah.
Right? I would like to forget about this loss so that when it comes back, he's a bit more rejuvenated.
And I would like to see what they do as well, because yesterday, because we're recording this on a Saturday.
Yes.
Yesterday on Rampage, there was a finish that the fans didn't quite agree with, so I'm not sure if maybe that would change how they book this.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it was Ruby Soho, Chris Statlander to move on in the Owen Hart tournament. Mm-hmm. And they did the whole Mark Henry thing where they cut promos before the match. And Chris Statlander's was I hate her promos, but it was really good. Basically saying, I've been here all this time and I have nothing to show for it. Mm-hmm. I'm owed this type of thing. And the fans were really behind her. Even in I've never seen AEW fans that excited from a females match in a while.
Yes.
They were over the moon for this match the whole time. But they made Ruby Soho go over.
Oh.
And they booed her.
Oh.
like she had to cut a promo towards Britt Baker, and they would not let, because it was just the boo. So I'm not sure if that would affect them maybe giving MJF a sneaky win over Wardlow, right, for fear that happens again, type of thing.
Right? You could be onto something. Yes.
MJF is the perfect heel, so he'll probably use that for more momentum.
Yes, would be great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, that's Double or Nothing. I mean, we're not doing predictions for it. We're not getting into that.
I'm not predicting
the punishment. Yeah. We're not doing the punishment shows just yet, because we've still got a lot of work to do with our regular storylines. However, what I do want to touch on is something that is starting to really fucking irritate me. And that is that apparently Corey Graves at some point has made an argument for the unification of the United States Championship and the IC Championship. Now, as we've seen, Universal title, WWE title, those were unified. Since not been fucking defended.
And probably won't be for a while.
Yeah. Now we have the unified tag team championships. The Usos, the Bloodline, holding all of the gold, silver, and nickel.
Yeah. They keep saying gold, but they're silver. Yeah.
And now we're starting to discuss the mid-card unification of championships. And my question to you is, I guess it's a two-parter. One, why the hell do you want to do this? And two, where the fuck does it end?
Well, before I even answer that, there's a picture floating around of what the unified tag titles will look like.
Yeah.
And it looks fucking terrible.
It does.
So hopefully they don't go through with that. But for me, at least, the IC title, I don't care about the United States title that much. But the IC title to me is one of the most prestigious championships in WWE, especially since they took away the heavyweight championship. So the fact that they're going to unify that championship with they're not even I understand the tag champs.
Yes.
Because it's two belts that serve the same purpose, especially if you're going to take away all the brands and all that stuff.
Yes.
But the IC title and the United, they're not even similar. So I'm like, why are you... What's the purpose of unifying these two fucking titles?
Yeah. To me, it makes no sense because, and I am very passionate about this, because it's not that goddamn hard to book two titles. It really isn't that hard to book a bunch of titles, because the mid-card that you have is so freaking bloated as it is. And I understand, you're going to end the brand split. Yeah, Raw, SmackDown. That still doesn't mean that you have to take away the titles.
Yeah.
Because the mid-cards need to fight for something, because you don't give them any goddamn stories. What are the stories in WWE right now that don't encompass the Bloodline?
Oh, nothing.
Exactly. What does Ronda Rousey have to do? Nothing. What does Becky Lynch have to do? Like the little piece with Asuka? What's Bianca Belair do? Nothing. So like you don't give 90% of your roster story.
Yo.
So now you're also gonna take away their stakes.
and I always find it weird that they never have anything to do with these two titles, especially when they're all about popping the ratings and stuff. I'm like, these are two belts that you can just put on an episode of Raw and make a change. Like, unlike the WWE title and tag titles, like it doesn't have to change hands at a WrestleMania, at a back. Like you could just make it change hands on a Raw.
Exactly.
And especially for WWE, that's all about ratings. Like there's a ratings pop right there. So I don't understand why they find it so hard to just book the mid-carders.
Yeah. My thing, like, these mid-card titles should be the titles that are regularly defended on a Raw and a SmackDown, because you've given away their world title. Mm-hmm. You've put it up in this castle and you're like, no, only a couple of times a year. So then these titles should be regularly defended. And let me no, because you're telling me that, we're going to function just fine with just a couple of belts. No. The first time that they did a brand split, the first time in 2002, okay, they unified the World Heavyweight title and the Intercontinental Championship. Mm-hmm. Okay? It was Triple H versus Kane. They unified the title. Triple H won. They got rid of the IC belt. So on Raw, it was just the World Heavyweight title, the Tag Team title, and the Women's Championship. Now, we know about the Women's division having all of about 4 people in that division. The Tag Team Champions, okay, great. World Heavyweight title was specifically on Triple H, never anyone else. So the entire mid-card of the Raw show had nothing going on.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It lasted 1 year before they brought back the IC title.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that you want to unify the gold so that there's one less championship to fight for, and then you're going to do the same thing with the ladies, and the ladies never have anything? Just book your titles.
Because again, it makes perfect sense for the tag team division because they barely have any tag teams.
Exactly.
So, let's all fight for one title.
That makes sense to me.
That makes perfect sense.
That makes sense to me.
Same thing with unifying the major titles.
Yeah.
Because you should only have 2, 3, 4 people to at the top.
Yeah. Contenders for the belts.
Yeah.
It's
but then your roster's 100+ people.
Yeah.
What are the rest of them?
Even the people that you fire, there's still NXT people coming in to take their place.
You have your joke guys fighting for the 24/7 title.
Yeah.
But then what about the non-joke characters that are actual good performers? What are they gonna be fucking doing?
Yeah, exactly. Ricochet, Austin Theory, who's getting a huge rub from holding the U.S. title.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because he seems so much more legitimate right now, and he's dancing with the likes of Cody Rhodes and all of these top upper level tier people, having a featured match with McAfee, and then 2 weeks later he's got the belt. I mean, come on, these belts should be your stepping stones, where the mid-card, upper mid-card people hold this belt, prove themselves, and then hopefully by the time they lose, with a story, WWE, they become main event talents. That's what these titles used to be. Why would you want to take that away? It doesn't make any sense.
It does not. And because now if their roster was smaller, I would have understood. Mm-hmm. But they have a massive roster.
Yeah.
And not a Impact roster. No shit. Impact. Not like an Impact roster or a fucking ROH roster where it's most of them are guys that are, still trying to make it to that next level.
Exactly.
Most of these guys are ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, you give them 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, 2 minutes, they're ready to go. So for you to take away another title and have all these guys fight for just one title, it's gonna be chaotic.
Exactly.
You would have to do a ladder match every fucking time.
And let's be honest, I mean, Sami Zayn's never getting a whiff of the world title.
No.
Kevin Owens will never get back there. AJ Styles will never get back there.
There's Ricochet.
Yeah, right, Ricochet. It's arguable that fucking Bobby Lashley may never get back there again. He's old.
Damian Priest.
Never. Edge might never get back there again.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of people that might never get that WWE World Heavyweight Universal title.
Just think of how amazing it would be if you were just like, you know what, fuck it, and you give the U.S. title to, like, let's say Edge and his faction.
Yeah.
Now that just
how strong would that title be?
Right?
Yeah.
It would, like, you could probably even main event a pay-per-view
that would be
just behind that, or if you give Bobby Lashley one of those titles, right? At first there's going to be some pushback to it, but after a couple months, everyone's going to be wanting a shot at that title, especially like, just remember what happened when they put the U.S. title on John Cena, that it became the title of Monday Night Raw.
Exactly. Like, if you're going to take away the heavyweight title and make that your special pay-per-view quality title, that makes sense to me, because you're trying to pat on yourself after UFC. You don't want to admit it, Vince, but that's what you're doing.
Got a UFC guy to do commentary on Raw. Yeah,
right. So if you're gonna be like UFC doesn't always get main evented by the heavyweight title.
No,
there's the middleweight, the light, with the bantamweight, the fuckweight.
There's the times where they're like, you know what, these guys are fan favorites. This isn't gonna sell a lot of tickets, but you guys want it.
This is gonna be your big thing. Yeah. So, like, these secondary titles should now be presented as your television main event titles.
Exactly.
In my opinion, like,
it's like, if you get here, next step is world title.
That's where at least, once upon a time when Brody, Cody, Miro were holding the belt, the TNT title.
Yes.
The TNT title was a main event belt on television.
Yes.
And it made perfect sense. That's where they were so much stronger than the WWE. You have to give them credit for that.
Because whenever that title was on the line, it was main event.
Yeah.
Not going on first, not mid-card. It was the main event. And it was
promoted a week in advance or 2 weeks. It had a story to it.
They made it matter. They made it matter, right? Yeah.
So that mid-card title, you have to give them credit for that. Those mid-card title, the excellent booking with those ones. So that's where they definitely have a one-up on them. Last thing I want to see is for them to join a gigantic roster together and take away stakes for them to work with. I think that's a horrible fucking idea.
And it's just gonna lead to more cuts, due to, budget restrictions.
Yeah, budget reasons. Yeah. You don't have to pay for another belt.
So I feel like if they do unify, it's gonna just be a downward spiral until they're like, you know what, let's bring it back.
Personally, I don't even like the fact that they're cutting up the brand split. I've always been a guy that enjoys the brand split, that enjoys an exclusive roster, because when it's done right,
that's what I was about to say.
When it's done right, you get a bunch of talent that never get featured, getting featured on these shows.
And both shows get their own distinct personality as well. Like
own feels and own things like that. Like these things are so important, but they don't have anybody that's willing to take care of it for a long period.
Like, remember when SmackDown first started, that they had the what was the SmackDown 6?
It was brilliant.
Right? And then, even a couple years ago, when you think about it, when they had Daniel Bryan and they had Roman and they had, all these guys that were like, hey, we're riding for SmackDown type of thing.
That's right, yeah. So, and yet you have, even when they brought it back the first time, with Shane and Brian as commissioners over here and Stephanie and Mick, like, that SmackDown was fucking boss when it first came back. Yeah, it would be horrible in my opinion. But yeah, that's just a couple of guys' opinions.
What do we know?
What do we know? Yeah, we got a lot out of those 2 segments. Yeah, I think we should talk about some more.
All right.
Sasha Banks and Naomi.
Yep.
Let's talk about
They did a little walkout.
They did a walkout.
Fashion strike.
Yes, they're going on strike. They've been indefinitely suspended.
Yep.
They've disappointed us all, according to the WWE.
Yeah, they took away the titles.
Yep. Took their ball and went home.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I want to talk about, basically, is how do you feel about when your back is against the wall? Because I mean, I'm sure we've all been there at some point in time where we feel like we're being, like we're just at our wits' end.
Yeah.
We're either being fucked with or we hate our job or something. How do you feel about the idea of just walking out? Because the story goes.
Yeah.
And this is where it gets a little dodgy for me. Because the story goes is that the Sasha Banks and Naomi were scheduled to both have singles championship matches against the 2 Raw and SmackDown Women's Champions, respectively. And in doing so, they were both going to lose said match at the end of the pay-per-view, whatever that is. And they felt that, 1, they didn't have a direction for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, which, there's never been. And 2, they didn't like the idea that the SmackDown Tag Team Champions were being used to further 2 regular not regular singles, but singles champions.
And I saw that a lot of the reactions backstage were, no duh. What did you think was going to happen with these titles? They're not, no one's ever been able to do shit with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So my question to you is, how do you feel about the idea of just walking out on your employer?
Well, as a person who's done that.
I didn't know that.
As a person who constantly reacts terribly to workplace situations.
So you've just walked out on an employer before?
Yes.
Story.
So I was working receiving for this food company, and they were just the worst place to work at, and I did the old Sasha Banks, and one day I just walked out and took my shit and never called or anything and just left.
Wow.
So yes, from a guy that's done that, it's not the greatest thing to do. You shouldn't do that. Like, that's one of the things I regret a lot from my time. Like, there's a time and a place for all this shit, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you did have a feeling towards the direction that they're booking you, that's a conversation that you have either before or after or whenever. But like, to just, and I know like with Raw, it's kind of like, as soon as you walk in, we're going to tell you what you're doing. Like, there's like, it's that type of work environment. It still seems like a bit unprofessional to just kind of, pick up and be like, whatever. And I know there's some reports saying that because they announced the match, but there's some people saying that they knew that they left before they announced the match, and yada, whatever the case may be, you shouldn't just quit the day of the show. You, like, if you have a problem with the direction that the titles are going, have a conversation, even if it's after whatever they have you guys doing is done. Be like, okay, we did that, we're not doing that again, type of thing. But I don't know, at least for me, to just pick up your shit and go, as a person that's done that, just isn't the smartest thing. I know Sasha's fine because she has acting jobs and all that other shit, but what's Naomi gonna do now, right?
Yes. I would have to agree with you. It's dodgy to me, because I do feel like they are a bit full of themselves. And I'm not criticizing the ladies themselves. I'm more criticizing the walkout, the action, more so than the persons themselves. Because I've definitely been in situations where I've been pissed. I've been absolutely fed up with my job, and I've looked at the door and I've thought I could. The grass might be greener. It sure looks like a nice day outside.
Trust me, it's not.
But I've never done it. And so I'm criticizing the walkout itself because mainly under the crux of the fact that you were winning. You were winning the match. You were winning the match. You were getting a headline match at the pay-per-view.
And it's not like your team was breaking up or anything.
Yeah, and it's not as if you haven't lost before. And I don't know, like, you're kind of... And not to use insider terms too often, I'm not going to do that, but it does feel a little bit like you are a mark for yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm all for being like, I am confident in my abilities. I know my worth. I know my value. I get that. But to me, it seems like from the reports that it comes down to, well, I'm losing again. And my titles are not being taken seriously. And it just screams of this kind of almost childish reaction to something that is, at the end of the day, completely predetermined, and also at the end of the day, really not your call, because you are not the boss.
It's a weird fucking situation, because and apparently Sasha was the whole orchestrator of the plan. That a lot of people are saying Naomi kind of just followed her, which makes sense because Sasha does
this.
Yeah, she does
Sasha
feel like
does
the
this.
type to see herself in like this, I'm better than whatever you guys
what you're
have.
giving me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because she's done this a few times where she just kind of ups and leaves.
Like my whole thing, like, again, we don't know what happened. We don't know. Like, I'm not sure if we're ever going to know exactly what happened. Yeah.
We never will.
At least to me, it feels almost like, okay, we're going to walk into we're going to walk into the office, put our titles on the table, and they're going to beg us to come back, and we're going to be able to demand whatever we want, type of thing.
Yeah.
But, unfortunately, we're doing that with the Divas tag titles. So
who gives a damn?
Yeah, they were like, just okay. Go.
Yeah, fine. All right, whatever.
Like, the tag titles and Naomi. Whoa.
Yeah.
How do we survive?
Right. And it's like, Naomi is married to the Uso.
One of the Usos.
Eventually, she's gonna be fine. But I mean, like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. At least, like, do your job first.
Listen, right? There's wrestlers in that company that had to do much work. Like, Nikki ASH is walking around in a full superhero outfit.
Yeah.
And all they're asking of you is, hey, take like a month off from your titles.
Win.
Yeah. Take like a month off from your titles. All I'm asking you to do
is win, please, and get a featured match.
Like, hey, have 2 pay-per-view matches.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we want to feud with Nikki and Doudrop.
Yeah. And I get
what are we doing here?
Right? And I get, like, we're champions, and we were just talking about the mid-card titles and wanting to put, but
this is different.
Yeah, because it's the tag titles of the women's division. Like, the only team that you have are Doudrop and Nikki ASH. Yeah. Like, you can't get any mileage out of that.
Because everyone was even making fun of that whole situation, because they announced that, since they left, they're just gonna do a tournament for the titles. And someone looked up online, and there's only 2 other teams in the roster. So it's like, what type of pressure are you putting on WWE to be like, all right, hold on, just relax.
Yeah.
Like, no, they don't give a shit. They're like, all right, good, whatever, go.
It's very...
Go cool off, come back,
right,
and lose to fucking Ronda.
Yeah, exactly. Lose like you're supposed to. I don't know. I'm all for standing up for yourself and what you feel you believe in. But I do feel that shouldn't come at the expense of professionalism, especially on a high scale like this. Like, you walk out of your job and whatever. But you have paying fans that come to see, probably would have been very excited to see the 6-pack challenge.
And again, I'm again, same thing. I'm for being like, hey, I know my worth, you're not just gonna make me do all this random shit. But when they're booking you to win and be in title pictures, it's like, how are you gonna, like, we can't sympathize with that.
No.
Like, especially when there's, look at the 24/7 picture. Look what they have these people doing. So it's like, and
all these other women that aren't doing anything.
Exactly. So it's like, it's hard for me to be like, I'm on their side when all they had to do was win a match on Raw, a main event match on Raw, and then each of them getting a championship match at a pay-per-view, and they also still keep their title belt so they can do whatever they want. So it's like, what are you complaining about?
Yeah, because you would also figure that both tag champions, yes, you're going to lose, but both tag champions are in a main event storyline of their division. If you put on these absolute banger matches, you would assume that it would raise your stock.
Exactly.
And make it feel like, hey, these tag champions are just as good because they're going toe-to-toe with our singles champions.
It's like, hey, look, the two women that took the singles champs to the limit are now working together, and they're like, that brings more eyes to the title.
Yeah.
So
that's why it leans to me of feeling like, you're a mark for yourself. You wanted to win, and you felt that you deserved more. I don't know how much more you're asking for.
You got to come out in a Lambo at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
like what else
just
do
seems.
you...
That's why it seems like a bit of a childish reaction on my part, and people have compared it to Stone Cold's walkout, and I would say that's not the same. It's really not the same. And I feel like Austin had more grounds and better grounds to walk out. And it's also a situation of Austin after about 6, 8, 9 months of feeling like his position on the card was dwindling and getting worse, and all of his booking was just being kind of pantsed and really bad.
And that's why it's just hard to sympathize with them, because they're getting the title shots, they're getting the main events, they're getting all this. So for you to just be like, but it's not enough, and leave, it's like, how am I supposed to feel?
What do you want?
What
more do you want other than a storyline for your tag titles with two people that WWE does not care about?
One of them's called Doudrop.
They would run one match, give you nothing, probably put it on a pre-show, where most of the fans aren't even in the building yet, and you'll be able to walk back after having your 6-minute match that no one watched and be like,
and with the way that they were going, the tag titles would have been on TV almost every night, basically. Because you're gonna main event Raw, you're definitely gonna main event SmackDown. You guys will probably run some sort of program where you guys are gonna do tag team stuff all the time. So it's like, it was a win-win for everyone.
It really would have. It would have been a win, and it would have risen the stock of the tag titles had you put your best foot forward. It's a silly thing. I think it was a very silly move on their part, and yeah, I don't see them coming out any better for it.
Yeah.
And Sasha Banks, to me, is starting to become one of those people that is a hassle. And is a liability to have on your roster.
Listen, if you ever just follow her antics and all that stuff, it gets exhausting.
Yeah.
I don't know how the Sasha Banks fans do it. Because just reading on it, it's like, how do you defend this?
Yeah, it's nonsensical.
Right? So, again, and she's just one of those people that, like, they're like, hey, I'm the greatest thing to ever fucking breathe.
Yeah.
And no one can tell them differently. So it's like... And again, I just feel bad for Naomi mostly. Because Sasha's going to be good. She has her movie roles.
Yeah, she's in that... got Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, famous cousin and all that shit. So she's good. She can quit and have something lined up.
Yeah.
You know, the Mandalorian's getting a new season or whatever the fuck. So she's good.
Yes.
But Naomi, it's like she's gonna have to come back to the company soon, and
indeed.
You know, who knows what the fuck they're gonna put her through when she gets back.
Oh God, I can only imagine what Vince is. He's gonna have a fucking field day.
He's gonna cook something.
He's gonna have a goddamn field day with her.
She's gonna have a clock around her neck, coming out doing some weird shit.
Oh my God. All right. Well, that's enough of current year wrestling. Okay.
Let's get
I want to go back in time.
Yes, sir.
I want to travel back to 1999.
Oh, you didn't know? Your ass better call somebody! Oh, hell yeah!
It is Monday Night Raw, the very first episode of Raw of 1999.
Raw is War.
Raw is War. This is a taped show from December the 28th, and it was aired January 4th, 1999. So the results of this show were already well known ahead of time.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yes. So there was a lot of buzz going into this television program, but it was a taped program. So when it's normally taped and people have already found the results, normally people don't tune in. So let's see how it goes tonight.
All right.
So January 4th, 1999, guess what, John?
What?
It's time for the numbers.
I always forget that this is like your favorite fucking part. All right, go for it.
Yes, there's not too much to say about it. 10,500 people have packed this auditorium for tonight, and instead of simply focusing on Monday Night Raw, yes, exactly. Instead of focusing exclusively on just Raw, I also did some digging to get some Nitro numbers as a comparison, because this is deep in the Monday Night Wars, and this particular episode is very pivotal in the Monday Night Wars, as we're going to get into. For the television rating of tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw pulls a 5.7 rating, which is approximately 5,600,000 homes. Okay. Meanwhile, WCW Monday Nitro, which is live from the Georgia Dome, manages to pull in a flat 5 rating, which is about 4,900,000 homes. Okay. Now, as I said, Raw has 10,500 approximate fans in their place. Nitro managed a crowd of 38,809 human beings in the Georgia Dome.
Wait, but was it like was that Nitro, like, what was advertised for? Why did so many people go?
This was the thing about Monday Nitro, and because I read the book, The Death of WCW. It's a fantastic book by Brian Alvarez and Dave Meltzer, and it does an extreme deep dive of the product, and specifically about when Nitro got on air. And the thing about WCW at this time was that the name was selling more than the actual product was. They advertised the Georgia Dome probably about a month, maybe 2 months in advance, and the first day ticket sales were in the 20,000 plus category.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter what WCW was doing; they were
just
selling
wanted
tickets.
to go see.
Exactly. That was a huge plus for them, but it also ended up being a gigantic negative for them because all of the mistakes that they were making were happening during this boom period and wouldn't take effect until tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, so whilst Nitro is, seemingly going on a downward spiral creatively, productivity, all of that such and such, their numbers look extremely good.
Gangbusters.
Exactly. So yeah, we open up Monday Night Raw with a video recap of Shawn Michaels being fired.
Yeah.
Fired. And delivering some sweet chin music to Mr. McMahon as a result.
Yeah, and at this moment, it kind of got me because they started like playing all of his greatest hits, and I was like, this is such a weird tribute video to give someone who's getting fired. Yeah. But then Vince came out.
Yes. Yeah. I love the fact that as soon as it gets in the promo package to Vince and Shawn specifically in their relationship, because Vince McMahon has been in love with Shawn Michaels for ages. And as soon as they're like, Vince and Shawn's relationship is always very close. Yeah. And Vince is just like, cut that out! Get that off! Get that sentimental crap off my screen!
That whole thing legit got to me because I was really like sitting there like, why are they doing such a touching? I was like, this is such a good video for a guy that's just about to get fired.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
Excellent. Yeah, Vince McMahon comes out. He says, he's fired. Retribution for having his son Shane being assaulted by Mankind some weeks ago, and says the vengeance will be unto the people that caused damage to his beautiful son Shane. And then he mocks Shawn Michaels and the idea that Shawn Michaels might even show up here tonight.
He's like, don't hold your breath. It's not happening.
Because you might die of oxygen deprivation, says Vince McMahon. But sure enough, the Heartbreak Kid is there. He's in the building.
Yep. They cut to a video of him backstage. And then they cut back to Vince, and he's just in the ring telling the corporation, break his bones. Yeah. Break his bones. I'm like, what the fuck?
I want you to kill him. I want you to rip him apart. So Shawn Michaels comes out. He reunites with D-Generation X. Says that he cannot be fired as commissioner. That his commissionership is ironclad. Yep. Yes, and so only if he resigns can he be fired as commissioner, and oh baby, he's not resigning for the life of him. No, absolutely.
He says that he has authority over all WWE competitors except Stone Cold.
Yes.
Yep.
Because Stone Cold belongs to Vince McMahon.
Yeah. And since Vince entered himself into the Royal Rumble, that makes him a competitor.
Indeed.
So now Shawn Michaels switched his Royal Rumble number from 30th to number 2.
Yep. That's a big moment there. Yep. It's going to be Austin and McMahon starting the Rumble.
And Vince at this era had the greatest facial expressions
absolutely
of all time.
Yes, this is so McMahon in his peak. And you get a lot of taste of McMahon during this show. We're going to get into him a bit later. He was on fire for this episode.
Just him staring, not staring at the camera, just staring up at Shawn like, you motherfucker. Like, you actually did that. Just amazing stuff.
Brilliant stuff. So yes, Shawn Michaels moves Vince's Rumble position. Fantastic stuff. Hit our music. DX music plays.
But before that, he did say he's going out to get Vince a stone cold surprise.
Fantastic.
Yep.
At the beginning of this show, when I was going in, I was like, okay, so the Raw is War back then was a frantic pace. Everything goes about a couple of minutes. There's nothing really noteworthy. So I was thinking to myself, God, we're not going to do like a match of the night or a standout star. No. And then I realized there's 9 fucking matches. in this hour-and-a-half show.
There were so many matches in the show that I actually had to go to a modern-day episode of Raw. And I'm like, how much match? Because it's about the same time. How many matches are on these? Because there's no way I'm watching 9 matches every fucking Monday. So that was crazy.
Madness. It was a brilliant supply,
especially with the WWE Network, because they show you like the timestamps.
Mm-hmm.
So when I put on whatever I'm gonna watch, I always go full screen right away, so I don't see the time. Like I want to be fully engaged in the product.
Yes.
So I'm like writing down my notes, and once I'm writing down match 7, I'm like, what the fuck?
We're doing an extreme amount of stuff.
Yeah, I'm like, that's crazy.
The amount of stuff they're able to pack into this 2-hour episode. I mean, fantastic stuff. So we're kicking it off with Sean. We're kicking it off
Steve
with
Blackman.
Yes. And Ken Shamrock. Thanks for the save, buddy.
I got you.
That's why this is a 2-man piece.
I got you.
Billy Gunn wants a shot at the IC Championship belt.
Yes.
At the Royal Rumble, but Ken Shamrock says, not happening. Ain't giving it to you.
Word for word. What you said.
They started off with some good wrestling, some good
trading
back and
some
forth.
elbows.
Exactly, using a little bit of mixed martial arts in there.
Steve hits him with the spinning back kick that he loves to hit to let people know he's an MMA guy.
Yeah.
He knows that. That's how you show people you're legit. You hit that spinning back kick.
And speaking of legit, soon coming down to the ring is Dan the Beast Severn.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Have you seen much of Dan?
MMA legend. Oh
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So he is the man that was injured by Owen Hart.
Yeah. As you can see by the neck brace and all that. So yeah.
So this is the guy that caused Owen to retire and come back as the Blue Blazer. How about that? A near fall from Blackman off a roll up. So there's a bit of that, but then clothesline by Ken Shamrock, who maintains control. Then shortly thereafter is a big drop kick by Steve Blackman after an Irish whip into the corner. Follows that up with a backbreaker. Okay, and then there's an Irish whip, but Ken Shamrock is able to slip right underneath, turn right back around to a belly to belly.
Yes.
Bam.
But then Dan Severn gets up on the apron and distracts Ken Shamrock.
Yes.
And while Ken's distracted, Billy Gunn comes down.
Yes,
the old Billy
down and hits the famouser. One Ken Shamrock Blackman is able to pick up the win, pick up the pieces.
Yeah. And as soon as the match is done, Ken Shamrock jolts backstage. Not selling shit.
No.
Straight to the back, looking for Billy Gunn.
We
cut to the back, and him and Billy Gunn are in a little scrifuffle.
Yes.
A little scrifuffle there, and the backstage security breaks it up.
Yes. And then we cut to the ring where we're having Mankind coming out. Coming down to the ring, and he grabs a microphone and he says that he wants a title match.
Yeah.
He wants a title match at the Royal Rumble. And I was a little bit confused at first. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Wow, this is kind of jumping the gun a bit here. I had never watched this episode in full in a very long time, actually. So,
And so there's a video package of him assaulting Shane, Pat, and Briscoe in the back.
Briscoe.
No, because this is the Briscoe.
Yes.
And there's one moment where he does the mandible claw. To Pat Patterson's balls.
Yeah, to the groinal region.
And in this promo, he says, "Last week I learned a lot of things about myself." He said it was the first time that he touched a man's balls, and you know what? He kind of liked it. He kind of liked it. That's how he started off.
He also said that it was the first time that he had said "suck it" without the word "please" in front of it.
Mankind is a fucking treasure,
and
man.
his now favorite hobby is kicking McMahon family ass.
Yep.
Yes, so he calls out Vince McMahon. He wants his shot at the Rumble.
Yeah, after all that, he's like, but I have a favor for them.
Yeah, I have a favor I need to ask of you, and that's for a title shot, because he might not be God, but he is pretty damn good,
Yeah.
and he thinks he deserves a shot. So McMahon comes out and cuts a fantastic promo.
He insults the shit out of Mankind.
And he does it so well.
Yeah.
Like, so well. This promo is great.
Like the way he insults Mankind specifically to like everyone else.
Yes.
He cuts promos like a legit disappointed father. He cuts promos like he's legit looking at his child and he's just like super disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm like, you piece of shit.
One of the best bits here was, you haven't paid your dues. Mankind, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Dude Love, whatever you want to call yourself. Like, in the same breath as saying you haven't paid your dues, he lists off all of these characters that he's been.
But again,
for decades.
It gives off that disappointed father vibe, like going through all your phases. Like, yeah, you do love Cactus Jack, whatever you're doing now.
Haven't paid your dues. You want a title shot after you embarrass the McMahon family name.
He said he would stain the prestige of the title just by holding it.
Yeah. He also says you stain the prestige of being a number one contender.
Like just poke, like,
so savage.
God damn,
absolutely savage. So Vince McMahon says, absolutely not, you're not gonna get a title shot, but what I can do is this, is I will book Mankind versus Triple H for a match here tonight for his spot in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, he said he's not gonna give you the shot, but at least you can earn it.
Yeah,
by maybe winning the Rumble.
Exactly, but with just one little stipulation, one little minor thing.
Yeah, probably not going to affect the match at all.
No, not at all. But Shane McMahon is going to be the special referee.
God damn.
Excellent. This was a fantastic segment.
Oh, yeah.
And a great first seed for this night-long story that we're going to get.
With the boss protecting his son. Yeah, it's going to...
Match number 2.
Yes.
Mark Henry versus Go.
Hey. Sexual chocolate. How dare you? Sexual chocolate versus Goldust.
Forgive me. As Goldust comes out, he licks the rope as he gets him, like a full-on lick. Yeah. And Jerry Lawler is saying, well, how can I focus when I got Goldust licking the rope like that?
Listen, like, one thing I've learned from watching the Attitude Era is that Jerry is very much disgusted by Goldust, just his presence. Like, Jerry is full on disgusted by that man.
We kick it off here. Henry using his power in order to get control here, but Goldust is working the legs, or at least trying to.
He does hit very early. He hits a spine buster on Mark Henry. That was really
gorgeous spine buster. I was very surprised by that.
Because again, even though he's Goldust, every now and then he'll do like little things that's like, hey, remember, I know how to wrestle.
Yeah,
I'm just weird. I'm playing weird. I'm just weird, but I'm a really good wrestler too.
Yes, indeed. However, shortly thereafter, Mark Henry able to hit a gorgeous power slam, and then a big elbow drop follows that up with a leg drop shortly thereafter.
And one thing I love about this match is that Mark Henry comes out to the sexual chocolate thing. It's this whole goofy little thing. But then as the match started, you progressively see him getting angrier and more aggressive. So that's I thought that was like a nice little touch that they've added.
After the leg drop, here comes Chyna with her friend Sammy. Yes, although it is just girlfriend.
It's
at the
just
moment.
girl, yeah.
Yes, it is. Just
Even
girlfriend.
they did a backstage thing, and they're like, "It's China with girlfriend." I'm like, "Is this what?"
With that girlfriend of hers. Yes, I thought they were running a lesbian angle.
That's what I was.
Yes, indeed. Henry obviously getting distracted. He's very much infatuated by China, in love with the old Chi Nation. Goldust is able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He drops Mark Henry on his head.
Yeah, drops him right down. Sets up for the Shattered Dreams. Gets Mark Henry right in there. And sure enough, he connects with the Shattered Dreams.
Listen, I told you before the podcast, this is like my favorite fucking movie. Because he's purposely getting himself DQ'd.
He is.
But he still does it anyway. It's like he can't help himself.
It's worth it in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shattered Dreams, it ends up being a DQ, so Mark Henry does get the victory. China and Sammy, or excuse me, girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, we do learn her name.
Oh, we're about to learn her name, but I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Okay.
I don't want to get ahead of myself. So China comes down, she grabs the microphone, she kisses Mark Henry on the cheek in order to get him up, and says, my fear after we had that beautiful night together was that I might not be enough woman for you.
Yeah.
Because you're too much man
China
for
said
me.
that.
Yeah, you're too much man for me.
China said I'm not enough woman for you.
Yeah. But she's brought someone that might just be enough woman. Yeah. Her name is Sammy. And China then suggests a three-way.
Well, she said that they're gonna help him get a load off his mind.
Yeah. And Sexual Chocolate ends up fainting.
Yeah,
right
which
then
was
and there.
a funny ass spot. He just planted himself on the canvas.
Indeed.
And I love the Michael Cole in this moment because he's just like, what are they? What do they mean, Jerry? What do they mean?
Yeah. What could they possibly mean?
So that was funny.
So we go to commercial. When we come back, Dennis Knight is in the Wish.com version of Dungeon of Doom.
Who the fuck? I was so confused about that.
And so Dennis Knight ends up becoming Midian.
Oh, okay. Because they said, and I'm like, who the fuck is Dennis Knight? Yeah. I've never heard that name in my life. I'm like, who's Dennis Knight?
He's just come off of obviously being Phineas I. Godwin. And he's also been a member of Southern Justice.
So just a bunch of things I should definitely know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you should be well aware of the pig history
of Dennis Knight.
Indeed. So he's tied up in the sex dungeon, and he's begging for help.
Wait, did you say the sex? Oh my god.
He's tied up in the lair.
Okay.
There's a bunch of whips and chains.
All right. Well, that's not where I went first, but yeah, I get it.
Gothic sex dungeon.
Okay. All right. So
match number 3.
Godfather and his hoes versus Test.
Yes.
Just Test.
And I mean, this is a pretty short match, which is great.
Straight to it.
That's what I'm kind of thinking, that in the interest of sharing the load.
Jesus Christ.
Sharing the load. That my good man Just John might take us through.
If you know me, you know I love a good mid-card. Good mid-card scrap.
With a debuting Test, pretty much. This is the first time that we have seen Test.
Yes.
In action.
Very bland for a first time, but you know, Vince likes them big. Vince likes them big.
Vince likes them big and blonde.
So Test starts off strong right away. He puts Godfather in the corner, hitting him with knees. He then hits a whip into the ropes, only for Godfather to reverse it into a clothesline, followed by a scoop slam, leg drop, like, you know, basic mid card stuff.
Going through the works.
Yeah. Like, you can do it's Test. It's his first, you know, go around.
Yeah.
Godfather's in control when Val Venus.
Yeah, well, we can't forget about the whole train. All right, he gets him set up in the corner, and he does the chugga 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 whole train, and he whole train, the big splash into the corner. Come on now.
The only thing I was thinking about during that whole train thing is like, I'm glad they didn't do the Braun Strowman thing. And they put the choo-choo trains on the back. How to kill a fucking move with one little fucking change.
Love the whole train.
Yeah, Val Venus comes out and he just stands on top of the ramp while Godfather and Test take the fight to the outside.
Yes.
Test throws Godfather to the ring post.
Yes.
And for some reason, that got him DQ'd.
Well, it was a double count out is what I'm imagining, because both men were on the outside. They were fighting for quite a long time. The thing about this...
Because it looked like he got DQ'd, because right when he threw him onto the pole, the bell rung. So I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Are we DQing people for that now?
It did seem like that. I was confused as well. And the thing is that nobody tells you on Raw who won and who lost. Like, as you, in the previous match, it was an obvious DQ, but no bell rang. The match just ended. It was very weird, but I do believe that it was a double.
Okay, because I was like, if they disqualified this man just for throwing him in the ring post,
we're gonna have a horrible show.
But after the match, Val Venus attacks Test.
Yes.
While the refs tried to break everything up.
Yes. Yes. They brawl, have that business, and then we cut backstage
to Shawn and DX.
Yes,
and
they're having a powwow.
They're chatting.
They're reunited, and it feels so good.
I wanted to say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, hang on. Rewind. Shawn Michaels is backstage with
and they're reunited, and it feels so good.
Beautiful. Wonderful stuff. We cut to commercial, and when we come back, what is Raw presented by? Glover!
It's fucking back.
Cue up the music, please, as we talk about Glover. Oh, yes, from the castle, from the Crystal Kingdom. Glover must manage to get through everything. All of the obstacles that he has to face in order to save the kingdom.
I don't know how much money that fucking company gave WWE for this.
Enough money. That was goddamn worth it. It is match number 4, in which Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, takes on Mankind with a special guest referee, Shane McMahon. Indeed. And first off, Shane McMahon says he's going to be calling it. Where is he calling it? Right down the straight and narrow, right down the middle.
Make sure to get on commentary to let the people at home know. This is going to be straight down the middle.
He wants nothing
no shenanigans
left to the eyes.
Yes.
Straight and narrow.
And I don't know about you, but I believe him.
Yes.
I believe every word he says.
As Mankind comes out, Jerry Lawler says he's got the future of an ice cube.
You're such a dick.
Which I loved. Triple H starts off by working the arm. You know, they've got some basic feeling out process with this wrestling, and then
their match starts with both of them Mankind going for an arm breaker, like repeatedly doing arm breakers, and Triple H reversing it, also doing it. And I'm like, that's I think the first time I've seen a match start off with multiple arm breakers.
Interesting stuff, but soon it breaks down. Mankind is able to hit a bulldog, and then Triple H is able to follow that up with a clothesline shortly thereafter. Yes, Mankind throws Triple H to the outside and then follows it up with a baseball slide. Yes, Mankind keeping Triple H out of the ring.
Unathletic version of a top rope suicide.
Yes, Mankind keeping Triple H out of the ring for a little bit of time, but Triple H is able to fight, able to corral himself back in, manages to give a shoulder barge to the gut of Mankind. For the first time, I think, ever, I've seen Triple H hit a sunset flip from the outside back in. Mankind tries to hang on to the ropes, but Shane McMahon
Straight
kicks
up
him
kicks
right
him.
in the
Yep.
hands, delivers the fastest 3 count in the history of the world. Triple H has managed to secure himself a spot in the Rumble.
But before the fans could even start to boo Triple H, he grabs the mic and he says, "Hey, sorry, but business is business."
Yeah.
But then he looks at him and he says, "Hey,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's."
Yes. And then he kicks Shane McMahon right in the
and hits him
gut.
with a fucking pedigree.
Nails him with the pedigree and says, "He's all yours."
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then Mankind puts him in a submission hold.
Yes.
Shane's yelling and crying, and here comes Vince.
Yes, he's coming down with the Stooges. He's saying, "My God, let go of my son. Let go of my boy." And Mankind says he doesn't want a shot at the Rumble. No. He wants a shot at the WWF Championship tonight.
And make it no DQ.
Yes, and Vince McMahon agrees reluctantly in order to let go of my baby boy.
And then as they're walking back, The Rock's in full street clothes and he's arguing with Vince. I'm not prepared for this. I'm not doing it. What the fuck? And Vince is just yelling. He's like, "You're a champion, God damn it. You should always be ready."
Oh my goodness. So after commercial break, it is time for match numero 5.
Yes.
In which we have Edge taking on D'Lo Brown. I had a lot of high hopes for this.
Why? What?
I love Edge and I love D'Lo. What are you talking about, baby?
Oh, okay.
And I think they friggin' delivered. Thank you very much. I think they had a great wrestling
What the fuck
match.
is going on?
Listen, what do you want? We've only got like 5 minutes of wrestling apiece here. Okay? Even the main event, I think, only goes 6 minutes.
Yeah. Listen.
I find the little bits of gold where I can. Because we got some good wrestling to start off, okay? And then we got the flying crossbody by Edge over the top rope. I mean, that was impressive.
That was okay.
Like,
That's
what the
fair.
hell
That
do
was
you want?
that was pretty cool. All right.
Jesus Christ. Back into the ring, D'Lo Brown manages to hit a picture-perfect sit-out powerbomb.
Yes.
And taunts to the crowd. He gets right up on there. He's all like, "Yeah, I'm the shit, I'm telling you," with his head bobble. All right. He misses the big elbow drop, however, from the second rope. And then Edge is able to get right on back up to the top rope. Hits another crossbody.
But then PMS comes out.
PMS comes
and this is where the show goes fucking weird. This is where, boy.
Yes, because PMS come out.
Yeah.
And Terry and Jacqueline, respectively. So Terry gets on to the apron, and she's distracting D'Lo Brown. Yeah. D'Lo Brown advances.
Right before that, D'Lo did hit a beautiful spine buster on Edge.
Excellent. Right from off the top rope. Catches Edge, lands him with the spine
fucking
buster.
Amazing.
I'm telling you.
But then after that, he notices Deborah.
Yes. Yeah. Hey, Terry.
Oh,
Don't get these blonde women mixed up.
They all look the
same. They don't all look the same. Don't you dare.
The same person.
Don't you dare.
Okay, so he notices Terry.
Yes, Terry gets onto the apron. D'Lo Brown advances upon her. Looks to be advancing quite aggressively, but in fact he is not.
Advancing quite aggressively? Why does that sound so rapey?
And in the haste, as Terry tries to back away, get off the apron, she ends up tripping and falling off of the steel steps. Now, as we have mentioned before,
yes,
at Survivor Series, Capital Carnage, Rock Bottom, that Terry is pregnant.
Yes.
Yes.
So she falls down and she's holding onto her stomach, screaming, "Oh, screaming, my baby.
My baby, my baby, my baby."
Medics come down, they put her on a stretcher.
Mm-hmm. They zip her up in a half body bag for some reason.
Super fucking weird. I've never seen that.
Never seen that either.
But the funny thing is just watching D'Lo freak out and he's just like, "What the fuck?
Yeah,
what the fuck?
Jesus Christ, what have I done? What's happened? Oh no!" And she's screaming, "My baby, my baby!"
Yeah, and this wasn't a short segment either.
No,
this
gave time.
It was dead silent, and all you heard was her, "My baby," and everyone just like, "What the fuck? What did you do? Why would you do that?" And I'm just sitting there like,
And Jerry Lawler is there. He's immediately on it. He's like, he did not hit her. He did not touch her. He did not hit that woman. He's right there. Put the lawyer card on the line. Jerry Lawler called.
God, this was such an awkward segment. But then we cut backstage because there's more.
Yes.
Terry's still in the stretcher,
still screaming,
with the sketchiest doctor I've ever seen in my life.
And he's got a little stethoscope to the belly, and he's just tapping around.
He's looking for something. I don't know what the
Terry is screaming about her baby and that she's pregnant, and he's basically whispering to her, "Oh, I can't hear nothing. I can't hear nothing. Oh, I don't know. I don't know." And she's like, "What do you mean you don't know, my baby?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm just not sure. I don't know." And then they cut away.
Someone might have lost the child, and they're like, "All right, let's go back to the wrestling."
Because instead, we're gonna have Kane.
Yes. So Shane comes down with the Briscoes, Pat, and Kane. Kane has a little sign on his back.
This is Briscoe Brothers Body Shop. Yeah. Excellent stuff.
Yeah, so Shane comes down with them. Sorry, I had a little brain fart there. But Vince comes down.
Yes.
And he says, "Hey, because you guys let my poor baby boy get hurt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a handicap match. Kane versus you two."
Yes, Kane versus Patterson and Briscoe.
Yes.
Yes, and of course,
he said anyone involved in that situation was gonna pay.
Yeah, and truthfully, I don't know why. I don't know why this is happening. I don't know why the Stooges are getting destroyed like this. It doesn't make any real sense to me.
Listen, I thought they were just gonna like it was gonna be like Kane's gonna attempt to hurt one of them, and they're just gonna scurry off.
Yeah,
but no, he chokeslammed both of them.
Yeah, Briscoe offered first some cash to Kane. It didn't work. Pat Patterson offered a cigarette and then a condom.
I did not see that.
Yeah, that was the second thing that he offered. He offered him some cigarettes first, slapped it out of his hand, and then Pat Patterson pulled out the old.
No.
Yeah.
No, he did not.
The old Magnum condom.
What?
Yeah.
No, the fuck he didn't.
He was offering sex to Kane. He was offering sex to Kane, John.
No way he offered sex.
Condoms.
No. I'm gonna have to look back on that. There's no way I missed that. There's no way he offered Kane.
You do that.
Oh,
but
boy.
Kane does in fact chokeslam both men.
He didn't take the offer.
No, amazingly no. He chokeslams both men. He posts Briscoe. He pulls him right to post the dong into the post. And then Shane McMahon is like, "Now do something to Uncle Pat." Uncle Pat.
Oh yeah, because during the whole beatdown, Shane had a mic and was just providing live commentary the whole time,
spewing nothing but abuse. Kane then just wins because he threatens to attack Shane McMahon.
Yeah, he got a little carried away. Yeah, but then Vince came out and he's like, "Hey, we'll send you back. Don't you do it? Because
send you back to the asylum."
They apparently freed him from some asylum that he was in. So they're using that as a way to control Kane. So they're like, "Hey, we'll send you back."
Yeah. Cut back to the Dungeon of Doom where Dennis Knight is being grabbed by Bradshaw and Farouk. The acolytes come to collect Knight.
And they say, it's time. He's ready for you.
Yeah, he's ready.
I want to see where this goes.
Okay. Well,
because
you're gonna.
Because I'm very much confused. And I just don't mean like in this review. I mean like once we're done this, I'm gonna go see what happened with this fucking angle. So confused about this whole thing.
Yes, so match number 7. Number 7.
We're flying through
Jesus. I should also mention that I decided to go back and watch Monday Nitro from this time period as well.
Yeah.
And it was around the hour and a half mark of their show, so it's about 30-45 minutes in of Raw, where Tony Schiavone made the infamous blunder of a call that says, if you're thinking about changing the channel, fans, do not. Because we are told that Mankind, who you would have remembered as Cactus Jack wrestling here a few wins ago, is going to be winning their world title. That'll put some butts in the seats.
Oh, shit. Oh, poor Tony.
Yes.
Poor...
So the infamous call was made.
Basically telling everyone, hey,
indeed,
you should probably go watch that. God damn.
Yes. So match number 7, Al Snow versus the Road Dogg. The Hardcore Championship is on the line. Road Dogg is your new Hardcore Champion at the moment. Yes, so Al Snow comes out first. He positions head onto the stage.
Yeah.
And then he goes and ducks under the curtain. He's looking to ambush.
And at first, I thought it was going to work because it's so fucking stupid. But it worked.
It worked like a charm.
It worked, even though there's a camera and gorilla.
But Road Dogg comes out with the, oh, you didn't know? The classic Colossal Tussle opener.
Wait, what? I have to start fact-checking you some.
Al Snow is still wearing the blood-covered shirt from his bloodbath, courtesy of the Brood. Say that 10 times fast. That was a fucking miracle.
I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to edit something here, but you did it.
God.
No, you fucking did it.
We got there at the end. But yes, they start out on the ramp. They fight down towards the ringside area. Road Dogg is able to quickly retrieve himself a chair and throws it into the face of a flying Al Snow.
Yeah, Al Snow tried to do like a diving clothesline off the apron. Got met with a steel chair to his fucking face.
Exactly. But Al Snow recovers quite quickly, and a chair shot to the back of Road Dogg, and then a chair-assisted leg lariat sends Road Dogg out into the audience as Al Snow sets up a table. He brings Road Dogg back in, places him on said table, and what's he do?
He goes for a moonsault off the barricade, and of course he misses. Road Dogg gets out the way. He eats that whole table.
Eats it all, but it's only a 2 count. It's only a 2 count.
Road Dogg, a hardcore match. It's gonna take more than that to stop you.
Exactly. So Road Dogg grabs himself a baking pan.
Yeah, I just put object. I did not know what the fuck that was. I'm like,
it's a baking tray.
Okay.
A baking tray.
Normal thing to have at a wrestling show.
Hits Al Snow over the head, and Al Snow likes it. He's loving it. He's just a wild, maniacal stare. But listen, he says, "Yes, sir. May I have another?" And and Al Snow and Road Dogg obliges. Nails him as this match continues. And I miss these matches.
This match was great.
I miss
this match
these
was fucking
matches.
Great.
And I was saying to myself, I wish that this is what the 24/7 title was. Would be so much more entertaining.
Alson, they brawl to like where the stage is beside the crowd. They find a table. I think they had a spot set up, but the table breaks.
The table breaks, but listen, not enough. Road Dogg is going to use it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Sets it up against the guardrail and manages to deliver a excellent hip toss to Al Snow right through that mother fudger. Then Road Dogg gets up onto the steps and then throws himself, landing a beautiful elbow right down onto Al Snow. Backstage brawl. We're going to the back.
They head to the janitor's equipment locker. They start using all types of hose and toilet paper at one point.
Al Snow takes a broom and smacks it and breaks it off the back of Road Dogg.
And while all this is happening, there's just some dude in a suit just watching,
chilling out.
He looks like he came from the 50s, and
I freaking love this about the backstage area because the backstage area looks so lived in.
Yeah.
Anytime they go to the back now, it's so clean, so sanitized.
Yeah,
like,
everyone making sure no one's there.
It's not lived in. Like, yeah, you're gonna see these men that are just randomly walking in.
He was just like, and he was just, do I go? Okay.
What do I do? Where do we go?
Then after a while, he's just like, oh, okay, just go away. I'll just go away.
And there's a bunch of potted flowers just sitting around.
For reasons. I don't know.
Al Snow picks one up and just hucks it at the Road Dogg, smashes him in the face.
Yep.
They both go right through the emergency exit. The alarm goes off. This is how much pandemonium is taking place in this match. And they are battling out in the snow.
In the fucking snow.
In the snow. A shovel off the back of Al Snow, who falls into a wheelbarrow. And he takes the wheelbarrow, does Road Dogg, and drives it right into the fucking garage wall.
Then Road Dogg hits a power drive on Al Snow into some skids,
some debris.
Yeah.
And finally, that is enough to put Al Snow down for the 3 count. Road Dogg has the victory run.
Yep, back to the stage to get his title. Ring. This was a fucking fantastic match.
I was so happy to watch this match.
And my thing as well too with from looking back at all these Raws, and as I told you before the show started, I'm rewatching a bunch of early ECW.
Yes, well.
And I've gained so much more respect for Al Snow. Because again, you see the clips and he's coming out with a fucking head, and you're like, this is terrible. I don't want to watch this. But now that I've been like forced to sit here and watch it, he was fucking fantastic.
He really was.
He is fucking fantastic.
He really did very good for me. And our special standout was the Road Dogg.
Oh yeah,
as well. I think he did great in this match. The hardcore element is right up his alley.
And like his way of improvising too. Because first with the table, but then backstage he goes to use the fire extinguisher. And it doesn't go off, and he's just like, fuck it. And
just nails it. It's excellent. This plunder-based brawl. Excellently done. I loved it. Backstage, we cut, and HBK is going out to get himself a
before that, because I'm going to make sure that we follow this fucking story.
Yes!
We come back to the goddamn dungeon.
That's right.
And the acolytes are throwing the guy, Dennis Knight, through like a foggy fucking door.
That's right. And then they're standing guard.
What is going?
The door closes.
I have to figure out what happens to this Dennis Knight guy.
So yes, you're right. But now.
Yes, now to more important things.
Yes, HBK is going out to get himself a Stone Cold surprise.
Yes.
He's only going to be back in a few minutes. He knows exactly where Stone Cold is.
Yep.
He knows exactly where the surprise is.
So Triple H gives him the key to the car. He's like, there you go.
There you go. HBK walks out. And as the DX go to leave, HBK says he's going to be back in a little bit. You know, everything's going to be fine. And Triple H says, maybe not. Maybe not. And X-Pac says, you know, what goes around comes around.
Yeah.
Right? So Shawn Michaels is now out. He's got the car. He's at the car. He's trying, but he's got the wrong key.
Yeah.
That's what seems to happen here. So he goes back, hammers on the door, says, you know, Triple H gave him the wrong key. And then he hears somebody say, hey, Shawn.
Yeah.
And it cuts to commercial break. When we come back from commercial, Shawn Michaels has been killed.
He is a bloody mess.
Yes, face first through a car windshield.
Yeah.
He has been bloodied, brutalized in this graphic, grotesque nature.
There was blood on top of the car. There was blood everywhere.
God. Like, it was nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, deep in the snow. And all of this,
and then they turn it over, and he has like a scratch on his face. I'm like, wait, what the fuck?
Right. So yes, it was the corporation that had beaten Shawn Michaels down and that had put him through the windshield. And so my question is, was DX in on that, or because it seemed like DX was in on it, but they're fighting with the corporation.
Yeah.
So,
but then Triple H did get a win with help from the corporation.
Yes, yeah. And Triple H down the road will have a few more dalliances with the corporation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if they're long-term booking that far ahead.
Right? Unless they had something going on and they changed it last minute type of thing. Because it did seem like they knew something was going to happen to Shawn. Or it was kind of like, this man's annoying, I hope he doesn't come back. But that's not what the vibe that I was giving off.
No.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering, like maybe they were pranking him by giving him the wrong keys, but he just happened to be in the corporation's crosshairs.
Yeah, that could be. But then again, once you add the corporation to it, just makes everything like...
very sketchy, very odd.
Again, it could have been a prank, and he's just outside in the cold. Like, that's what they were hoping for. Like, him just being like, hey, guys, open up. Right? But, it's also a state. There's 1,000 ways to get back inside.
Yeah.
That would have been a terrible joke, right?
Yes. At the end of the day, absolutely. But Shawn Michaels is stretchered out. He's taken away via the ambulance. So we're assuming now... no Stone Cold surprise.
No Stone Cold.
Stone Cold is stuck at the hotel.
Right.
He's stuck at the Bear.
How is he gonna know?
How's he gonna get here?
Right.
Shawn Michaels is dead.
He was his only mode of transportation.
He was the only thing that he had left in him. But yes, evidently Shawn Michaels is out of here as we move on to the main event.
Yeah.
Mankind versus The Rock for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. It has been a show-long storyline for Mankind getting his shot at the WWF Championship.
Mankind comes out with the DX.
Yeah, DX is in the corner. Yes. Yeah. And it just makes the last segment even more confusing. But whatever. The Rock has the corporate team in his corner. Of course he does. It feels like a big fight.
Yeah.
It feels like a big match.
I love that The Rock's still not in his wrestling attire.
No.
He is in full street clothes.
Do you know why? The Rock is in his street clothes because he is in there for a reason.
Okay.
He had surgery on his pectoral muscles because he was producing too much tit gland. So his working out, his chest workout, was not doing enough to reconstruct his bosom.
Wait, isn't that the thing that happens when you use a lot of steroids?
Possibly.
Oh, okay.
Possibly, but it is just a hormone, like when you're producing
allegedly.
Yes, yeah. But it does happen when you are producing more hormone. You just gain more.
He's
breast.
On that stuff, man.
Yeah, you just gain more breasts.
See, that's one thing I learned. If you just say allegedly at the end of something, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine.
You're a rapist, allegedly.
How did that backfire so goddamn quick?
Allegedly.
God, damn.
But yeah, so he has had an operation. He has had some work done. He won't be out of this tracksuit until WrestleMania. So enjoy some of Tracksuit Rock.
Okay.
Yes. So The Rock starts out with a sneak attack on Mankind.
Yeah, he got distracted with Vince.
Yeah.
With his dad.
Yeah, his daddy issues. Sends Mankind to the outside pretty early on. Ken Shamrock tries to take a cheap shot at him, but The Rock is like, hey. I've got this all on my own.
The Rock's got this.
Yeah, and then he proceeds to bitch slap Mankind, takes him over to the steel steps, uses the steel steps first on the back of Mankind.
Yeah.
Then with the steel steps still on top of his head, he takes the lower half of said steel steps and drives those onto the head of Mankind.
And then when you were like, whoa, that's kind of crazy, he then suplexes Mankind onto the fucking floor.
Right on the floor. Indeed, he gets over to the announce table. Yeah, thank you very much. And starts talking that trash. I also note here that they are starting to chant "Rocky sucks." So I mentioned previously that the crowd still didn't seem like they were willing to boo The Rock here. It seems like the fans are starting to turn around starting to get the idea that, hey, Mankind is legit. And The Rock is the man to be hated. So very nice to see the slow progression of actual heel Rock here.
And again, this headset spot was the same one from Survivor Series, I believe.
No, it would have been Rock Bottom.
Rock Bottom.
Yes.
Where he grabs the headset, talks trash, then spits water at Mankind.
Yeah.
He tries doing it this time, but Mankind said, no.
He's ready for him.
He punches The Rock, and then he takes the headset.
He does.
And then he's basically like, hey, Mankind's pretty good. He's doing an all right job.
Mankind's not doing too bad. Yes, he is suplex on the outside. We've already discussed that, so we're at the table. The Rock gets him on top of the table and delivers a rock bottom right through the announce table. Fantastic stuff. He rolls Mankind back into the ring, but it is a near fall. Yes, indeed. Yes,
he Mankind tries to do a little comeback. The Rock fights back. He does a good old corporate elbow.
Corporate elbow. And shockingly, it's a near fall.
No. Oh my God.
Shocking. Yes, Shane McMahon using a little bit of cheating here, grabbing hold of the neck. But yes, Mankind is able to fight back, delivers a neck breaker.
Yep.
Both men are down. Then hits The Rock slides slides in about to The Rock.
Yeah,
there we go.
Big Boss Man holds on to Mankind's legs.
So brief distraction, which causes The Rock to get enough time to nail Mankind right in the face, but still a near fall. Double arm DDT by Mankind. And there is a near fall there as well. Mankind,
The Rock tried to hit him with the belt again, missed. Yes. DDT onto the belt. I think. On the belt, he kind of kicked it out of the way when he did, but still, it was supposed to be on the belt.
Yes, and then he gets out Socko. And Socko is in on The Rock. It looks to be over, but Ken Shamrock breaking it up with a steel chair right to the back, and then all hell breaks loose.
DX comes in, the corporation, and it's just
and then
lefts and rights.
And we're gonna play it here because it is bar none the biggest reaction that I've ever heard in my life. Play it. Fucking unreal. Unreal, the reaction. It is fantastic. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out, evens the odds, chair shot to The Rock, puts Mankind's shoulder on him. 1, 2, 3. We have a new World Wrestling Federation champion. I got goosebumps all over my body.
It's one of the greatest moments in Raw history.
Easy.
Mankind holding up the belt. Vince on top of the ramp, pissed.
Just is so pissed.
Like you can see the fumes coming out of his ears.
It's so brilliant, and it's just it's a perfect encapsulation of Raw during this Attitude Era period, because the main event is so wild, crazy, ugly, like everything around like just being used, and it's a mess, and there's like 12 people on the outside, and it's all like madness, but there's so much story and there's so much heart. And then Austin and the popularity of these stars, but Steve Austin in particular,
because
it's a monstrous pop unlike anything.
Because you're following this story and you're seeing every time he gets close, he gets screwed. Every time he gets close, he gets screwed. This time you're like, fuck, it's happening again. He's getting screwed again. Then that fucking music hits, and you're just like, oh no shit.
Like, everything is perfect, and it's the first time really that Stone Cold and The Rock are crossing paths since the beginning of this story back at Survivor Series. So another seed here that's taking us even further.
And the nice, just the touch that I absolutely loved about this entire moment was when Road Dogg grabs the mic.
Yes.
And he says, "Your new champion
of the world."
Mankind. That I was like, that's such a nice little touch.
Epic. It was
nice
epic.
fucking little touch.
Everything is fantastic. The first time Mankind is picking up the heavyweight title is like validation for all of his work after being thrown off the cell. All of those bumps, going
Chair
through
shots
shit.
to the fucking head.
Yeah, like everything that he's gone through, he finally gets this championship. And he caps it off saying, "I want to dedicate this to my little kids at home," and say, "Big Daddy-O did it." And it's just, oh my God.
But I'm gonna be honest, I got a little worried when he grabbed the mic.
Yes.
When he grabbed the mic, I was like, don't ruin this. Don't ruin this. Because I had goosebumps. Road Dogg grabs the mic. I was like, this is so perfect. They're carrying him. Then I saw him grab the mic and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No. Don't you talk about how you like grabbing balls? Don't. But then when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's
amazing.
Nice. Because I could have gotten left real quick.
Indeed, it could have. Yes, and that's the show. But I need to do some more work here, as I mentioned before. Tony Schiavone says those immortal words of "that'll put a lot of butts in the seats."
Yeah.
And at that moment, about 600,000 homes switched to Monday Night Raw in order to watch this, again, taped show, of which the results are known.
Yeah.
Not only by regular fans, but WCW. You've been spoiled by this main event. Mankind is winning the gold. Doesn't matter, nearly 600,000 homes switched over to watch the crowning of Mankind. Butts in seats, indeed. It would be basically the nail in the coffin. One of the final nails, but certainly one of the most fatal nails in the coffin of WCW Monday Nitro, because Monday Nitro would never win again. They wouldn't even crack the 5.0 no more than 2 other times from 1999 to 2001. And the only 2 other times was when WWF Raw wasn't even on television.
See, like my two things about that, right? One, I feel like for some reason taped wrestling shows, because of this whole war, it gets a little it gets a bad rep.
Yes.
But sometimes, even though you know the result, you still want to see, like, especially with a moment like, same thing with the just to bring it back to recent times, when Keith Lee became double champ in NXT, like, I got spoiled. The moment isn't as impactful, but a lot of people still tuned in because, Keith Lee's winning 2 championships. So, I think they thought they were going to do something bigger with that, but they forgot that, like, hey, I would still kind of want to watch this type of thing, right? Yeah. And then my second thing about that whole situation, and this is like my pet peeve with wrestling now, is that back then there wasn't that many people on the dirt sheets.
No, like, very, very minimal.
Unless you were like a hardcore, like you were watching Japanese wrestling, you were like really into this shit, you weren't on the dirt sheet. So when they probably heard that, they're like, oh shit, I didn't know that was happening. What the fuck? Yeah. And they switched over. Like, it's not like now where, like, if you log into Facebook right now, that you could probably see the match card, the results, the time for everything that's about to happen on a live show, right? So I feel like people weren't too deep into the dirt sheets back in the days.
Certainly, yeah, no, absolutely right. And the thing about it is that Nitro had been doing this forever.
Yeah.
Raw used to be a tape show in 95, 96. A lot of times would have been taped, and Nitro would have given away those results.
Because I remember Vince Russo used to do that a lot, right? Yeah. Was it Vince that he would come out and be like, hey, the main event for Raw this night would be yada, yada, yada.
Yeah,
I think he's done it a couple times.
He did it a few times, but Eric Bischoff was the king of doing it.
Yeah, Eric Bischoff. What the fuck am I talking about?
Eric Bischoff was the king of doing it, and it used to work when it was, when Raw was in the toilet and nothing was good, and it was about farmers and chickens and, and clowns.
You're spoiling the bushwhackers. Like,
exactly.
Guy, that's
right?
Fine.
So it used to work perfectly fine, but in this case, you're talking about a monumental moment, and to piss on somebody who is so universally loved as Mick Foley is.
A guy that's been to every promotion and taken crazy bumps for
everywhere and everywhere every night,
exactly.
No
so
matter
it's like
what it was.
It doesn't matter what level of wrestling fan you are. You've heard of Mick, you've seen him,
indeed.
You've heard someone talk about the crazy shit he does. So
yes,
he was loved by everybody,
exactly.
Basically.
And it was a fatal error on the part of WCW Nitro. They definitely paid for it.
Damn.
Yes, and that was a big thing. And obviously, you can't blame Tony Schiavone. He was being told.
Yeah, but it sucks that it was him.
It does.
It sucks that it was Big Tony.
Yes, but the one thing about Tony is that he immediately called Mick Foley and apologized and said, it wasn't me. I was being told, just doing his job. And there was definitely some remorse there, of as there would be.
Right.
But yeah, it was an incredible night and moment. That's what makes this Raw so important. This entire night so historic, and definitely needed a look in my opinion. And so that was the show. And because we had so much crap going on, buddy, match of the night, standout star in the overall show grade.
Oh my god.
Yes. Do you want to go first, or shall I?
Well, it's up to you. You can go first. Go
I will go first. My match of the night is easy peasy, the hardcore title match.
Oh, okay.
Easy peasy. I had so much fun with that match. My standout star is also the Road Dogg. I was incredibly impressed with him, specifically because we had just gotten through the tag team matches, which were bad. All of them. Bad.
Weird ending after weird ending.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so Road Dogg having this match for the hardcore title in that hardcore element, I loved the match itself. I missed that type of wrestling, and Road Dogg was extremely impressive for me. The overall show grade itself, it's going to get a 3 out of 5 for me, but that is, that's not to say that this is a bad show or a mediocre show. Its significance and its importance stands on its own. The quality of the show had its bumps in the road because it's, the matches are not long. There's not a lot of substance. A lot of the matches just end. There's a miscarriage angle.
That would get you.
Yeah, Dennis Knight doesn't get followed up on. Shawn Michaels gets killed, and it's very confusing. So the quality of the show is like, this is a melting pot of wrestling in 1999. This would be what we would experience for a lot of 1999.
Yeah.
But again, the significance has to stand on its own. And yourself, sir, match of the night.
Well, my match of the night is Mankind, The Rock. I was gonna give it to Road Dogg, Al Snow, but you already gave it to them. So, in the interest of being fair,
beautiful.
I'm gonna give it to Mankind and The Rock. Standout star, though, I'm going to have to agree with you with Road Dogg.
Yes.
And then my overall rating, 4 out of 5. I'm gonna go just a little, because
so you enjoyed this show.
I was very much sports entertained. From a sports entertainment point of view,
yes,
this was I could not look away from the screen. Every time I would look away, some weird shit was happening, and I had to go back. I was like, wait, what the fuck was that?
What did I just miss?
Yeah, like I think I got up to fucking do something around the house, and I come back and there was a guy in a dungeon. So I was like, wait, whoa,
back it up now.
There was the whole miscarriage thing was super weird and creepy, but hey, I was glued. I was like, where are you guys going with this?
Okay.
Shawn Michael getting murdered.
Yes.
And then the ambulance guys just kind of being like, hey, cheer up, champ, you got this. And just putting him in an ambulance and being like, hey, come on, you crazy kids. So, just the weirdness of all this stuff. And then we got the hardcore match that was great. Yes. The Mankind moment that was great.
Sure.
The Mark Henry segment with China. Yeah. So the whole show was very, very sports entertained. And we got 2 decent matches out of it. So I was like, hey, that's more than I get on Raw now.
Yes, this is true.
So that's why I'm going to give it a 4.
Excellent. And I guess I have a question for you, because you would kind of be exactly what Vince Russo is looking for. Somebody that hasn't watched full episodes of Raw television or anything from the Attitude Era. So you got to watch a full episode of Monday Night Raw. My question to you, would you tune in to the next week? Would you continue watching?
If I was in 1999, maybe.
Yeah.
A strong maybe. Because, sure, the wrestling isn't what I genuinely would watch. I'm more of cruiserweights. Let's do some actual wrestling. Yeah, let's do some actual wrestling. But from a sports entertainment point of view, there's no way you see how batshit crazy this is and not tune in, just at least to peek into that first hour to just be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, what's happening with Mankind?
Yeah,
what's happened with
again, I can see why a lot of people look back at this time and be like, yeah, it gets too goofy too quick. Because I can definitely see a guy like Vince Russo taking all these angles and pushing it to the point where you're like, all right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've had enough of this.
Oh, yes.
But for them, if I'm just in that moment and this is my first episode of Raw, I would probably watch at least the first hour of the next one.
There you go. Yeah. Well, looks like Vince Russo is slowly hooking you.
Listen, sometimes batshit crazy works.
Yes, it does.
It's only when you go a little bit too crazy, and you have the Yeti and all that type of shit.
Oh, well, we might just have to explore some WCW in the year 2000 one day when Vince Russo's shackles are off.
No, I've heard about his times there, and
but
definitely some punishment episodes.
Yeah, but we've got some more things to deal with before we even start to think about a new storyline, because coming up next is the Royal Rumble 1999. It is Stone Cold Steve Austin, Vince McMahon entering number 1 and 2 respectively. It is The Rock versus Mankind for the WWF Championship in a brutal I Quit match, along with
is this the match?
Oh, this is the match.
Is this the match?
This is the match.
Oh, no.
So we have that coming, ladies and gentlemen.
I want to watch that.
Indeed.
Oh, no.
But until then, as usual, as I leave him with some nightmares, thank you so much for joining us for episode number 11, the January 4th edition of Monday Night Raw. We hope that you enjoyed, and as always, you can follow us on the socials, such as
Twitter at The Colossal Tussle 1 and YouTube at The Colossal Tussle.
Yes, along with following us individually on Instagram at
Pharaon36
and Director KJ. You can listen to this podcast on multiple platforms such as Spotify, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Audible, Google Play.
Wow.
Yes, we are expanding even further.
And yes, people, we are one away.
We are one away from Big 6.
We're gonna get it to you guys. ASAP.
Yes, the iTunes, the ever elusive iTunes.
Yes. before you know it.
Yes, follow us on these platforms wherever you listen to this podcast. We hope that you enjoy what we are doing. We are certainly having fun with this exploration into the Attitude Era, having a blast with it. You can follow us, like it, make sure you never miss an episode, all of that jazz. If you like what we're doing and you have a friend that enjoys wrestling, spread us around. Tell them to give us a listen. At least once, they won't regret it.
Make sure you guys come back next week.
Mm-hmm.
We will be talking about a guy getting a concussion.
Yeah, the multiple concussions. And scaring his entire family in the process. What more can you ask for?
We're here to deliver smiles.
Are you not entertained? But until then, I have been the Road Dog, Special K, the Badass,
Just John,
and we are out.